How are you? I hope you're doing fabulous, and I hope you had a good long weekend. It is Wednesday, and you guys only have 6 more days of school, and you're first graders. I can't believe it. This year went by so fast. And the really exciting thing is, of those 6 days, 3 of those are distance learning. And 3 days are fun days where we're going to have lots of fun with online things of fun to do. So I am super excited, and I'm so proud of you guys because you have been working so hard. And I love seeing all that you do, and it makes me so happy to see all your guys' work. And I love getting pictures of you guys playing or riding your bikes or having fun, because I miss you so much, and it makes it a little bit better to see you guys. But I really can't wait till I can see you guys in person. So anyways, we have 3 days left. So here's day 1 of 3 this week. And we have a new fairy tale this week. By now you've probably already guessed it, but this week, or you read, that this week our fairy tale that we're focusing on is Little Red Riding Hood. So in your ELA task and your fairy tale task, there is a version of the Little Red Riding Hood, but I'm going to read you another version because, like we talked about last week and the week before, there are often different versions of the same fairy tale. So, Little Red Riding Hood. This is the version that I'm going to read to you today because I have it in a book. So this is Little Red Riding Hood, and it's illustrated by Dubravka Kolonovic. And the author of this story, it's interesting because the author's not on the front cover, but the author's in here. It says Retold by Gabby Goldsack. So remember we talked about that with fairy tales, because the stories are usually, the plots or what happens is usually about the same, that they're not really written by, they're retold by. So this one was retold by Gabby Goldsack and illustrated, I'm going to try one more time, Dubravka Kolonovic. So let's read it. Little Red Riding Hood. Look at her in here. That's the character. Okay, ready? Here we go. I'm going to try this one. Once upon a time, there was a little girl who lived with her mommy in a cottage at the edge of a big forest. Whenever the little girl went outside to play, she wore a beautiful red cloak that her grandma had made for her. It had a big red hood, so everyone called the little girl Little Red Riding Hood. Ooh, I like the illustrations in this one. One day, Little Red Riding Hood's mommy asked her to take a basket of food to Grandma. Grandma isn't feeling well, Mommy explained, and I'm sure she'd love to see you. Grandma lived on the other side of the forest, so Mommy drew a map on a piece of paper so that Little Red Riding Hood wouldn't get lost. See the map? And remember, don't talk to any strangers along the way, said Mommy, helping Little Red Riding Hood into her cloak. Little Red Riding Hood took the basket of food and skipped into the forest. What do you think? Do you think she's going to follow that direction and not talk to anybody? I hope so. On the way, Little Red Riding Hood saw some beautiful blue flowers. Grandma might like these, she thought. As she bent down to pick a handful of the flowers, she didn't realize someone else was in the forest. Can you tell who? Hello, little girl, said a deep, growly voice. Little Red Riding Hood jumped with fright. Uh-oh, it's a wolf. So now that we have a wolf talking, do you remember we've talked about fiction and nonfiction? Is this a fiction story or a nonfiction story? It's a fiction story, right? Because fiction means untrue. And one of the clues that we know it's untrue, the wolf is talking. Because that's not something that really happens. If the wolf weren't talking and it was just people talking and she was going through the forest, It might be a realistic fiction, which means that it could really happen, but you don't know. A big wolf peered out from behind one of the trees. "Oh, hello," replied Little Red Riding Hood, smiling back at the wolf. She had already forgotten her mommy's warning. Uh-oh. "Where are you going?" growled the wolf. "I'm visiting my sick grandma who lives on the other side of the forest," Little Red Riding Hood explained. "Ah, what a good girl you are," smiled the wolf, showing off his razor-sharp teeth. These pages are so sticky together. Just then, the wolf's tummy gave a loud, rumbly grumble. "What was that?" asked the Red Riding Hood. "Just some thunder over the hills," said the sneaky, hungry wolf, as he ran away as fast as he could go to Grandma's cottage. Why is the wolf going to Grandma's cottage? The hungry wolf peered through Grandma's window and saw the old lady in bed. With a loud howl, the wolf dashed into the cottage and gobbled up Grandma in one large gulp. Then the wolf put on Grandma's spare nightcap and glasses, clambered into her bed, and pulled the quilt up to his chin. Now all he had to do was wait for Little Red Riding Hood to arrive. Oh, poor Grandma. Okay, what's going to happen when Little Red gets there? When Little Red Riding Hood reached the cottage, she was surprised to find the front door wide open. "Grandma," she called, "are you there?" "I'm in the bedroom," replied the wolf in a strange, wobbly voice. Little Red Riding Hood went into the bedroom and gasped in surprise when she saw her grandma. She looked sort of different. Why did she look different? Because it's not the grandma. Look at, that's silly. Grandma must be very sick, thought Little Red Riding Hood. I hope it isn't catching. "What big eyes you have, Grandma," she said as she went over to the bed. "All the better for seeing you with," the wolf replied in the same wobbly voice. "Grandma, what big ears you have," Little Red Riding Hood added, moving closer. "All the better for hearing you with," said the wolf with a toothy grin. "What big teeth you have, Grandma," stuttered Little Red Riding Hood. "All the better for eating you with. Ah!" Little Red Riding Hood screamed and tried to run away, but the hungry wolf was too fast. He leaped out of the bed and gobbled her up in a single greedy gulp. Oh no! He ate Little Red Riding Hood. What's going to happen now? A passing woodcutter heard Little Red Riding Hood scream and ran into the cottage. When he saw the wolf's enormous belly, he guessed what had happened. He ate them. He picked up the wolf and shook him hard. Little Red Riding Hood and Grandma flew out of the wolf's mouth. Luckily, they weren't hurt, but they were very cross. Cross is another word for mad, so they were very mad. I mean, I'd be very mad too if somebody just ate me. Grandma, Little Red Riding Hood, and the woodcutter chased the wolf into the forest and over the hill. The embarrassed wolf never came back, and Little Red Riding Hood never spoke to strangers again. The end. That was a pretty funny version. So the wolf went all the way away, and then the very last page is a picture inside the grandma's cottage with two little rabbits. So if you haven't listened to your fairy tale task version that's in the Google Slides, I want you, when you listen to that, or if you already did, think about what are the differences between this version and the other version. Are the characters the same? Is the setting the same? Is what happened the same? So think about those so you can compare and contrast. Remember, compare and contrast means to find things that are the same and to find things that are different. So we're comparing and contrasting different versions. So I just want to say you guys are amazing. And I miss you so much. And I can't wait to see you for all these fun things that we have planned the last 3 days of school, June 1st to June 3rd. And I know you guys are going to do amazing this week with your last week of kindergarten work because you're ready for first grade. I'm so proud of you. I miss you guys. I love you guys. Bye.